Hey guys, Zach here from Gingerbeard Brewing, and this is our Honey Cinnamon IPA. Ooh, pouring beer is my favorite thing on the weekdays. Ooh, child, that is beautiful. Okay, so I may have poured that a little bit hard, but you saw that pop. The carb is freaking real on this beer. So some things on this particular brew. Our grain bill was 8 pounds of Belgian Pilsner, 2 pounds of rye, and 1 pound of Crystal 20. We used Belgian Pils because I really like that as a base malt, more or less, and highly modified. Definitely help out with some alcohol percentage, even though this bad boy did not need any help at all. We used the rye to contribute to some dryness and spice, although I don't think it did much of either. We'll get to that. Crystal, just because it gives some good color, some good flavor, and why else do you use Crystal besides those reasons? The whole goal of this bad boy here was to make a very crisp and light flavored beer that was still sweet and spicy. So what we did was mashed in at 146, or 152, mashed at 146, trying to keep it very, very dry. Did that for an hour, and then we did a 45-minute boil. After our mash, we did hop additions of Tettnang and Sterling at the 45-minute, the half-hour, and the 20-minute mark. I was hoping to get a lot more hop profile out of it so that it would be more IPA-esque. Not a ton of hop profile came through, but still present, still pretty dang good. So after the boil, we pitched SO4 just for a good clean flavor profile. I think it would have been fun to use maybe a Saison yeast or something of that nature, which might be how we modify this to give it a little bit more of a unique and broad flavor profile. 2 days into fermentation, I dissolved a pound of honey and a gallon of water and then added that to the wort, and it basically kicked off almost like a second fermentation. It was super, super active again, which was really impressive. And then I also added an ounce of cinnamon bark, just dropped it in, and then let it sit for another week and a half or so before bottling. One thing I noticed was the yeast cake looked very, very unique. It almost looked like a melted milkshake rather than your standard super setup yeast cake. It was very, very interesting, and I think that was either the honey or the cinnamon or a combination of both. Usually you almost have like a half-cooked pancake look. You know, you got your yeast cake with the little bubble pops. Completely different, really, really strange. So that threw me for a loop. I thought it was junked, but tasted it 2 weeks after that because we still carbonate in bottles. And this big boy, we are getting a kegging system set up right about now as we speak. Just needs some fermentation chambers and whatnot. But it's really interesting. You can't really taste the cinnamon, but you can feel the warmth of it. That's the easiest way I can describe it. And the honey dried the beer out like mad, which is what we wanted, what we were hoping from the rye. It seems like the honey took care of the dryness and the cinnamon took care of the spice. So I think or maybe they're just so good that I can't distinguish the rye, which I think is a great, great thing to have. Head retention, just big, bolsterous head. Definitely a little bit on the overcarbed side. Not so much that it explodes, but you saw in the beginning, it set up pretty good there. I also did kind of a hard pour because this is a heavy boy, but either way. I think most of the bitterness is actually coming from the cinnamon. I don't think we did enough hop additions to actually bring forth a hop profile that would be considered IPA-ish. It actually tastes way more in the amber category. I think it'd be really fun to redo this with a good chunk of wheat and do a honey cinnamon wheat beer, just because I love wheats. Maybe get fancier with some like agave nectar. I don't know the fermentation capabilities of agave, but there's so much exploration to do within just side of this base rep C that I'm really excited to do. Definitely considering it, using it for the addition in our competitions coming up. Oh, by the way, we're competing in the state fair and we're gonna win. Well, we might not, but you know, the whole goal is obviously to win. Otherwise, why do it? It'll be the first time we compete, so it'll be really cool to get some of our product in front of actual professional beer tasters. So we're definitely looking forward to that. A few things that came up that I would do differently here is, for one, I'm not 100% sure where the ABV sits now. Because we had our pre-boil or our post-boil gravity, pre-fermentation, our original gravity, and then after that, adding, a gallon of sugary honey water to it would have raised it back up. And I didn't take a measurement then, wasn't really sure how to calculate that in, if it comes an average or if you just take the highest point. So definitely need to do just some standard technicality research on that. It feels pretty high. I know it's at least 8.5, which, like I said, we're working on making our beers lower. And we successfully just did a white IPA that is sitting at 5.5%. So we're the best. We finally made a beer that you can drink more than 2 of. Not that that's the point, but it's kind of the point. This was the first beer we did like some super heavy adjuncts post-fermentation, especially using a whole ounce of cinnamon, a pound of honey added into there. It almost gives it kind of like a beer mead hybrid flavor, obviously because there's a ton of honey, but it's obviously still beer because we use so much grain. Super unique. I haven't found a beer like it really that I've come across and tasted. So I think it has the ability to fit into a category as well as kind of own the uniqueness possibilities of the category. So some things that I've been thinking about this is you could do obviously a honey cinnamon, we could do a honey and coriander, we could do a honey black pepper. Like the possibilities really are starting to open up just with some of the experimentations we're doing. The white IPA we're using some orange peel and coriander. So we're just kind of trying to explore a few different flavor profiles outside of your basic grains and hops. The things that really make beer pop, really make it exciting. So definitely keep an eye out for those as well. But as we gear up for some competitiveness, make sure you stick around for any updates on that. We have some plans on just putting out a few different videos on how we got started, where we started from, because we got brewing on the cheap. It's not an expensive thing to get into, so we want to help everyone out who's trying to get into home brewing. Keep it as simple as possible, not overdo it. Beer should be simple and enjoyable, not some super complicated process. It's an art and a science, but it's not rocket science, and you don't have to be Picasso. You just got to get into it. Also, another note, if you're in the Colorado Springs area and do want to sample beer, make sure to follow our Instagram page, just at Gingerbeard Brewing, because by the time these videos come out on this YouTube channel, most of the beer is already gone, and you'll miss out, and then you'll be sad, and you'll hate everything. But give this video a like, go ahead and share it with everyone you know, and subscribe to our channel so that we can keep bringing you the best, well, maybe not the best, we can just keep bringing you more beer content. But that's what we're here for, so hope you're here for it too. On that note, see you later.